Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss on deadlock avoidance. Previously we have discussed on deadlock prevention. So deadlock prevention ensure that at least one of the necessary conditions for deadlock cannot occur. Like the necessary conditions are mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption and circular wait. If any one of the four conditions doesn't occur, we can ensure that deadlock can never occur in the system. That is what deadlock prevention will do. But deadlock avoidance, it is the simplest and most useful algorithm. So here it requires that each process as to declare the maximum number of resources it need before itself, before executing the resources, before using the resources. So every process has to give a priori information of the request of needed resources in future. Okay, that is what deadlock avoidance algorithm. That is why it is most useful and it is very simplest. And we can also examine that there should never be a circular wait condition occurs in the system. So you should also ensure, while you are doing this deadlock avoidance, you should also ensure that there should not have a circular wait condition in the system. Okay, this is the two conditions for deadlock avoidance. So first we will see what is a safe state. So safe state, a system will be in the safe state if the system can allocate the resources to each process in some order such that there will not be any deadlock. Suppose for example, if a system is allocating the resources to the process in some order such that there will not be any deadlock, then we can say that state to be the safe state. Okay, and we can also give some other definition for this safe state. See, for this, in this diagram, so if a system is in safe state, then there is no deadlock. The system is in unsafe state, there is a chances of getting deadlock in your system. Okay, this is what the system says. So this diagram explains you what is a safe state, unsafe state, and what is a deadlock. So when the system is in unsafe state, then there will be a deadlock in the system. So we will see what is another definition for safe state. A system in safe state, if there exists a sequence P1, P2, etc. up to Pn of all the processes such that for each Pi, the resources that Pi can still request can be satisfied by currently available resources plus the resources held by all the Pj. So what it says is that suppose you are going to form a sequence, you are allocating the resources in some sequence. Like for example, you are allocating the resources in the sequence like P1, P2, etc. up to Pn. So if a process Pi is requesting for some resource, so this request can be satisfied by the resources currently held by the Pi and also by the resources held by other processes in the system. So if this request can be satisfied, then we can say that state to be the safe state. And if there is a condition where if Pi needs are not immediately available, so if it is not immediately available, then Pi has to wait until all other resources in the system finishes its execution. If all the Pj resources, Pj have completed its execution, then Pi can execute. So okay, this is what in safe state will do. So what is a safe state? Safe state means state is said to be a safe if the system can allocate the resources to each process in some order. Okay, and still they can avoid a deadlock. Suppose they can allocate the allocate the resources in this order. Suppose you are having the resources P1, P2, P3, but the system is allocating the resources in P2, P3, P1 such that it will not go into a deadlocked state. Then that state is to be safe state. If Pi needs are not immediately available, then Pi has to wait until other resources, other processes have completed its execution. If they have completed, then they will return the resources to Pi and Pi can finish its execution. This is what you have to do it in safe state. Okay. Next, we will see the various ways in which you can avoid the deadlock. So there are two ways in which you can avoid deadlock. The first is using resource allocation graph. The second one is using Banker's algorithm. So you can use resource allocation graph if the resource type contains only one instance. So if the resource type contains only one instance, for example, if the system contains, it is attached with only one printer, let us assume that if the system is attached to only one scanner, so if the resource type contains only one instance, then you can use resource allocation graph. So for example, you are having a process P1 and resource R1, here resource R2, P2. Okay, so in resource allocation graph, so here there is only one instance of this resource 1 and there is only one instance of resource 2. So if you have similar to this model, then you can use resource allocation graph. So if the resource type contains multiple instances, then you have to use Banker's algorithm to solve this problem. So if the resource type contains multiple instances, for example, like if the system is attached to 5 printers, so you have 5 instances of printer and you have 5 instances of scanner or 5 instances of RAM. So similar like that, then you can use Banker's algorithm to solve this. Okay. Now let us see how we are going to solve deadlock avoidance using resource allocation graph scheme. So consider this diagram where you have two processes P1 and P2 and you have two resources R1 and R2. So in this, already we know what is assignment edge and what is request edge, and one new variant of edge is introduced in this diagram, that is called claim edge. Okay, so this claim edge, it is given in a dotted line. Okay, this is called a claim edge. So what do you mean by claim edge? So claim edge is that if a process can request a resource in future, then that edge should be given in the dotted form. So if the process is requesting for, if Pi is requesting for Rj in future, then you should give that edge as a claim edge. Then what is request edge? What is the difference between claim edge and request edge? So we are getting the we are knowing that process Pi is going to request this Rj in future. That is claim edge. So once Pi put a request to Rj, then this claim edge will become a request edge. So in that case, the dotted line you have to convert into a straight line. So it is waiting. So it has now Pi is requested Rj. Now Rj is being released by some other process. So what happens then? The Rj is allocated to Pi. So the request edge is converted like this. So the diagram like this, arrow mark is drawn from resource to Pi. Then that edge is called assignment edge. Once a resources Rj is used by Pi, then again it is finish its execution, then Pi will release the resource. So that in that case, it will again this Pi to Rj will become a dotted line. That means it can request Rj in future. So assignment edge will become claim edge. So it will occurs in the sequence of actions. The first is, if the process Pi is requesting Rj in future, then you can give it in the dotted line. If the Pi put forth a request from Pi to Rj, then it will become this straight line. So it will convert this claim edge to request edge. When the resource Rj is allocated to Pi, then the arrow mark will be from Rj to Pi. Then that edge is called assignment edge. When Pi finishes its execution, if it releases Rj, then assignment edge will become claim edge. Okay, this you all, I think you all understood this concept. So in resource allocation scheme, all the resources must be claimed a priori. So a priori in the system. So before the process starts executing, all the claim edges must appear in the resource allocation scheme. After seeing the claim edges only, system will decide whether to allocate that resources to the process or not. Okay. Now, suppose Pi has put forth a request to Rj, then the system will allocate this Rj to Pi. That means it will grant this resource to Pi only if this assignment, this allocation does not result in the formation of cycle. If cycle exists in the system after allocating, then the system, it will go into the deadlock. So the system will decide whether it forms a cycle in the resource allocation graph. If it forms a cycle, it will not allocate the resource to the process Pi. This is what happens in resource allocation graph scheme. Let us consider this example where P1 and P2 are two processes and you have two resources R1 and R2. So R1 is allocated to P1 and P2 is requesting R1. Okay, and in future this P1 can request R2 in future and P2 can also request R2 in future. So in this condition, resource, the graph, that is like the system will decide whether it will form a cycle or not. So currently there is no cycle. So now what happens is the P2 put forth a request. Instead of claim H, it is put forth a request P2 to R2. So it will become a request edge. So after requesting, now P2 is free. So if this system allocates R2 to P2, R2 to, so this edge will be converted to assignment edge. So see here, so if this edge is the request edge. Now it has been converted to assignment edge. So R2 is allocated to P2. After some time, P1 is requesting R2. So then the graph will become like this. Here it forms a cycle. If the resource allocation graph contains cycle, then there will be a deadlock. That means here you have a circular wait condition. So the system has to decide whether if any request is made, it has to check whether it forms a cycle or not. If it doesn't forms a cycle in future only, it can allocate that resources to the process. So this concept is called as resource allocation graph scheme. So in this video we have discussed what is deadlock avoidance, and deadlock avoidance can be done in two ways. One will be resource allocation graph method and Banker's algorithm. So Banker's algorithm I'll be explaining you in the next video. Okay, in resource allocation graph, so here we are going to introduce one more new edge called claim edge. So before the process executing the resources, it has to claim all the resources. So once the system gets all the claim edges, it can decide whether the resources can be allocated or not. So based on this, it will check whether the system will form a cycle. If it forms a cycle, it will not allocate. If it doesn't form the cycle, it will allocate that resources to the process. Okay. Thank you all for watching.